When your favorite AAA shooter is struggling, allow me to recommend an alternative. This is Out of Action. I'll take that. But before this video begins, I am doing something a little different. I am doing just some commentary while playing the actual game. And I'm doing this because I spent a lot of time editing my last video. I do recommend that you watch that one because I put a lot of time into it. It is about cheating in online games and what could possibly be done to prevent that. So if you are interested in that, please check out my previous video. Put a lot of time into it. With that said, let's get into the actual video. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Today we'll be looking at Out of Action, which is an offline demo. This is a preview, and more importantly, this is a game being developed by one person, that being Doku at Doku Games. And as you can see from the disclaimer, it's very much a work in progress, I should say. And so yeah, don't take anything that you see here as part of the final product, but you can at least get a good feel for the gameplay and what the game will have to offer. I can't stress enough that this is being developed by one person, so all the criticisms and everything that I'm giving, take that knowing, besides this being a demo and not being the full product, that of course, there's going to be things here that are going to look a little rough, or things that aren't going to be as normal as you would see in other games, such as this loadout. Now, this is a demo testing loadout, so chances are this may not be the end all. This may not be what you see in the final product. I do like vertical menus like this, but I think it can be spaced out a little more and have some added graphics, etc, etc. To the left here, this is everything that you get to choose from. To the right is what you're actually choosing. The shell are your character types. So you have your Bison, which is basically your middle of the road. Can take less explosive damage, is going to be a little slower, going to have a little more defense. Then you have a Hydra, which has 100% speed reduction, has a little more health, a little more defense, and increased defensive regeneration. So your shields are going to be up. You have shield health, and then you have your regular health. But unlike Halo, where once you get to regular health, you're pretty much dead, you basically have 2 health bars that are actually full. Now you have Dragon, which allows you to hover. You have Ghost, which gives you a cloaking invisibility suit, similar to something like Predator, and that does deactivate the moment you aim down sight, or you take damage, or you start to fire your weapon. Any one of those 3 happens, then your camouflage will be disabled. And then you have Rhino, which is just your overall very tanky kind of character with very little speed. I'm just going to go for the middle of the road with the Bison. With your backup, you have your backup, your sidearm, and your primary. And then for your sidearms, you have your pistol, your PDW, SMG kind of weapon. I'm going with a sawed-off just because I know what to expect from it. And you can choose different ammo types, and they all have their own different perks and negative perks. One thing you see here with the TD ammo, or TO ammo, I'm going to call it TD, can't quite tell because of the text font, is that it ignores slowing effects, but it does reduce pretty much everything else. What does it mean by slowing effects? Every character comes with a core ability. That core ability allows for the slowdown. So think something like Max Payne, where the entire world slows down and you get to fight in slow motion. And so TD ammo would basically ignore those slowing effects. It's just going to hit that target a little more accurately, even in the slow motion speeds. But that's the only thing that it has going for it. Then our primary weapon, we'll just go with assault rifle, reflex. I'm going to go with a heavy ammo and suppressor. And again, you can pause to read. I'm not going to go through all of this. You can pick up the demo yourself on Steam if you want to look at this in even more detail. You got a whole bunch of perks to choose from. Some of them give you extra health. Some of them allows you reduce you being on radar, because like old school Call of Duty, you are always on radar. Oh, it does reduce speed though. I don't care. Give me surplus and give me auto dock, because this game does have a bleeding effect. So if you take damage, you may or may not bleed, and you do have to patch yourself up. Healing abilities are already part of the character. You don't have to worry about having to equip a healing ability. Middle mouse button allows you to do this. So everyone gets wall hacks for a certain ability or for a certain set of time. I got cornered. The AI is very aggressive, and in this demo, the AI only cares about killing you. It's going to be a little bit, but we'll get to everything that we need to. You have a jump, you have your lean, left and right. You have a dodge, as I've been showing off here. But what you don't have is a sprint. You're not able to sprint around. You can only walk around at the speed that the game allows you to. It can be a little annoying, but once you get used to it, it's second nature. It's kind of like an old school shooter in that sense, where you don't get to sprint around all the time. You do have to be a little smart with your movements. But you do have a sliding button. And that slide also turns into a strafe, into a speed strafe. And then you have a dodge button, which is your shift. It does take some time to get used to the movement in this game, but there is definitely room for a lot of movement tech. One thing about the sliding is that once you slide, you are committed to that slide. You cannot slide out of it, you cannot cancel, you cannot jump. So, you can counteract the slide if you go, you know, so if I were to slide, can I actually counteract the slide at all? I can slow it down a little bit, but not a whole lot. So once you commit to a slide, you're kind of stuck doing the slide. And on the strafes, you can cut the strafe a little short, if you like. But again, you can't really jump out of it. I'm gonna die here again. Let's show off the slow-mo before I die. And I'm dead. So, you get a little glimpse of what the slow-mo is going to look like. I don't know how that's going to play in multiplayer, because this is a multiplayer-focused game. Now what's funny is that the bots do... Oh, that's out too. Okay. Hold on. Wow. Trying to be fancy with the knives. I don't quite know how to use them. Setting the bots to passive. This is what your ghost is going to look like when you're playing it first person. And so let's just talk about the pros, the cons, the goods, the bads, all that good stuff. And I can't stress enough, this is built by one person. What they have here is genuinely impressive for what it is. And I do want to see Doku get all the credit possible for all his hard work and see this game actually gain an audience and, you know, have people play it. So, first and foremost, the pros, what I like, what I don't like. I love the style of the game. I love the shell shading. I love the cyberpunk aesthetics. It's very much up my alley. This is the kind of game I want to see. I love games that have a cartoony or cartoonish art style, but can still look somewhat gritty. There's a lot going on to this game that is just well worth looking at. Another thing that I wasn't able to show off is that you have your regular ADS and you also have your point shooting, which is something that's being integrated in more and more shooters nowadays. I don't know how effective it's going to be here in this game. We shall see. Or not necessarily cons, but things I think can be improved. First and foremost is this invisibility shield. This isn't so much for me as it is for other players that are going to be playing this game. I come from games like Apex Legends and the finals, so I'm perfectly fine with abilities being in a game. But what I will have to say is that from the finals, people were complaining about people being invisible in that game. And that game has an audio cue, so even when you are invisible, you're constantly giving off a sound that people can hear. In this game, you can still hear people's footsteps even when they are invisible, but that's about it. And when you see like the kind of action you get put into in this game, it's going to be very easy to completely lose sight of the person who's invisible and just not be able to tell who's actually in front of you. Maybe make them a little less translucent, or give them an audio sound, just, you know, and just something that gives them away a little more. It doesn't have to be blatantly obvious. It can still be invisible, because this guy is going to be like a 1 or 2 shot kind of character. You're not going to be able to live in a gunfight. So I perfectly understand the idea and the concept. I just know that from other games, whenever you have someone that's invisible, everyone's going to complain about it. So I would say get ahead of that issue first. See if that's a guy. Can't really tell. Can't really see him in this area. But so it's not the most invisible thing in the world, but at a glance, it's going to be very easy to lose sight of him, which I know is the point. But during gunfights, when you're fighting against 2 or 3 other people, that's going to be very hard to actually spot. Just to give him an audio cue, maybe make him a little less transparent. That would be my little feedback for that. And again, that's not me saying it from my personal experience, that's just me saying it because it's something that shows up in other games that have this ability. Moving on, I think this would be a great platform as well for some single player stuff. I'm not going to ask for a single player campaign with a story mode, etc, because that's just not fair to ask. I know, for this being a 1-person development team. So I would say to try to come up with some challenges that can be done in single player, whether it's developed by the developer or by some modders, community mods, where they can create like a challenge mode of some sort where, you know, you're on this side of the map and over on the other side there's an object that you have to get to, and you gotta find your way to the object while not dying. Just small stuff like that, like small puzzle-esque kind of single player stuff, challenges that you can do as a player and have fun with. For as much as I do praise the developer Th3 for doing everything he's done to make the game look as good as it does now, I would say, or would encourage him, to either him or find other people that are willing to work with him to come up with some single player stuff, some single player challenges, just so there's a little added variety to the game, some extra stuff that can be done with the game instead of just strictly multiplayer or just offline bots. It doesn't have to be crazy specific, it doesn't have to be a full-on campaign, just some small challenges here and there. You know, force players to use different weapons and different classes than they're normally going to use without being punished in multiplayer. That's all I'm going to say for now about the game. This is Out of Action, again developed by Th3. The single player demo is available out on Steam for now, and remember, this is all just a test, this is all just a prototype. Do not take anything you see here for granted as part of the final product. And also, there are some reloads that are not fully animated yet. Be on the lookout for that, and just know that whatever you see is not indicative of the final product. And yes, we didn't get to see it in this gameplay all that much, but the glass does break. Just check out this game, give it a test, see what you like, what you don't like about it, and just remember, it's built by one guy. And there's a lot of polish here that you just would not expect from a 1-person team. So until next time, I'm Mr. Rain. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.